Hello there, and welcome to Ilum Radio. We're your hosts, David Beard and Menace, and with me always is my good pal and cosplayer extraordinaire, Millie. How you doing tonight, Millie?
I'm not ready for tomorrow's Mando episode.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Um, so tonight,
For those who don't know, sorry to interrupt.
go
For
ahead.
those who don't know, as we're recording this episode, tomorrow is the second to last episode of The Mandalorian, and people at Celebration have seen it early. They saw an early screening. We don't know anything. No one has. I haven't seen any spoilers. People have said that it is a really good episode. So that has gotten me excited for it. So,
And I think there was that tweet that you shared.
well, yeah, I'm not gonna discuss that, but yeah,
Not yet. Okay. Yeah, fair
yeah,
enough.
I don't want to discuss it
Fair enough.
because if that comes true, I will talk about it in our next episode.
Fair.
But I will say my predictions though, based on that though.
So you guys
For
have
the end.
something to look forward to next episode to see what that prediction was,
Yes.
what that tweet may have been, and yeah, gives you that incentive to come back next week. Tonight we're talking about chapter 22, Guns for Hire of The Mandalorian. A very cameo-heavy episode. Very
It was
cameo-heavy.
an episode I was not expecting to see cameos for, like, in general.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I know of one cameo because of, obviously, some credible news sources, but the other cameos I was not expecting. Like, that caught me off guard. I was like, Leo pointing
Yep.
at the TV.
Same. And like it's unfortunate because like not unfortunate the cameos. I love the cameos for maybe one, and I'll get into. But it's unfortunate because like it as per usual. Star Wars fans get polarized and divided, and they're like, "Oh, this is the worst episode ever! Like, why are they having all these people in it? Blah blah blah." And like in some ways, actually no, in one way, I will agree a little bit. Because, and it may happen to you also, you see who these people are, and it takes you out of it. 'Cause you're like, oh my god, it's that person. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But is it bad? No. Because you can watch it the second time and then really get back into it, knowing that person is going to pop up. Like, watching this episode the second time around definitely was more fun. Because now I expected the cameo, and I can, kind of, for me anyway, get into the story. But I digress. So yeah, let's get into it. So it starts off in a very weird way we didn't expect, with like a Corran ship being stopped, or no, just a Corran ship in general, and like the captain like in that weird like floaty tube thingy being fed like a fish martini basically, and it was a fish martini. Come on, it was in a martini glass and like boop, into like her.
Yeah.
We're looking back to tank, and yeah, we find the other Mandalorians. We discover that the other Mandalorians like working as hired guns, privateers, whatever.
I think we predicted that. Like, where these Mandalorians were. Like, didn't we discuss this before the episode came out? Like, oh, what happened to Bo's crew? Like, what happened to them, you know?
We did. We just didn't expect them to be here on this planet. Because we didn't even know about this planet until...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we thought
Yeah.
they'd be elsewhere. And... Yeah, so let's get into it. So they're basically, like... and it's a rumor that's been going around on the Twitters and on, like, social media... of the magistrate's son they had to bring back. Bless you. The magistrate's
Allergies.
son they had to bring back, that's like from season 1 of The Mandalorian.
I don't know if that's confirmed. That might be a reference.
Like, because it's from episode 3 of The Mandalorian. It's the one where
Right.
he gave up Grogu to like the scientists and Pershing and all that.
Yeah.
and he goes to Grief Karga, and Grief Karga tells him, "Hey, how about this? Like a magistrate's son or some shit like that." He says to him. He literally says it to Mando, like in that episode when they showed like the Mon Calamari on the right. Are they the same one? I don't think
not
so.
Confirmed.
Yeah, it's not confirmed. Like even on Wikipedia, it's not confirmed. It just says like magistrate's son or forbidden love, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Viceroy's son. Sorry, he just says Viceroy's son, and that's it.
Oh yeah.
That's all that's there, like on Wikipedia. So, but it's a cool theory. Kind of found it weird. Amon Calamari and Aquarin were getting busy, kind of, but you know that's neither here nor there. You know. But yeah, very, very weird. But you know, it puts us in the headspace of where these Mandalorians are at.
Do you know who that Mon Cal was voiced by?
No, who?
Tom Holland's brother, Harry Holland.
Really?
I'm not kidding.
I know you're not. Holy
I'm not
shit!
kidding. Yeah. So the day the episode came out, like I discovered this. Like I was looking at the credits, I'm like, Harry Holland. I knew he sounded familiar because he sounded like Tom. Brother Tom. So then I looked at his Twitter because I follow him on Twitter, and he kind of teased the episode the day before. No one knew, so it was really funny to see. And then he posted the day of saying, "Hey, I'm in this episode."
That's interesting. So, that's really cool.
This close to getting Tom Holland in Star Wars. Just saying.
So that's technically 4 cameos we got in this.
Yeah,
this episode.
Technically, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So okay, because it happened to me for a second. I actually paused.
Actually, technically 5. I don't know if you want to count another droid that's well known.
Oh, the which droid?
One battle droid.
Oh,
One voiced by Matt Wood.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'd say 5.
I mean, it's been years since we've seen one in live action, so...
True. That is absolutely true.
I don't know if that counts as a cameo, even though we've seen them a lot in the animation recently. But...
Right. But I mean,
whatever.
like you said, it's not live action, so kind of not... I would count that as a cameo.
But... Yeah.
So, you know when they get to, like, the Hyperloop... Not when the Hyperloop, I'm sorry. When they're approaching the planet... And Bo-Katan's ship, what's it called? Plaza 15.
Plaza 15. It gave me Epcot vibes. Not gonna lie.
Yes. Oh, you are not the only person to say that. You are not. Yes, I know a lot of people who said the same effing thing.
Like literally, as when I was watching the episode, I was like, "Huh, that looks like Epcot." And then they went on the train. I was like, "Yep, that's the monorail. Yep, that's Epcot."
So you remember how we were talking about Star Tours yesterday during the Celebration news thing? Like.
Yeah.
That could easily be the Star Tours planet they go to, cause like.
Yo, Jack Black and Lizzo on a ride film, like on the hologram, like asking for help. That would make a lot of sense actually.
And it's like another droid thing you have to fix and like take care of.
And they mention that the Mandalorians are kind of busy at the moment, so we need Star Tours' help.
Yep, that makes. That tracks. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Lucasfilm, if you're watching this, I can write the Star Tours. It's already right there. Just
it is.
Give me a premise of an episode, and I'll come up with a scenario.
So okay, you know how they're approaching in Bo-Katan's ship, right? To like space Epcot.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, like they take over the ship with their tractor or their automatic like landing pad, and like. When the message comes on to say, hello, welcome to Plaza 15, and didn't it sound like someone's cell phone ringing right at the beginning?
Yes, it did.
Like, did you check your cell phone? I checked my cell phone for a second. I was like, what the fuck?
No.
Like.
My phone's always on silent, so I was like, huh, interesting. But still,
like when it started ringing, I checked my phone for a second. I'm like, I don't recognize that tone. And then I'm like, did someone... I thought for a moment we got another like denim jeans guy. Like, did someone's phone ring during filming?
And they didn't cut it out.
Right? Did they forget to take it out? Like it sounded like a cell phone ringing. I'm like, okay, but no, it was like the messaging thing. But yeah.
No.
But yeah, thoughts. What were
It
your
was already jarring, even not knowing the cameos that's gonna come. Like it was like really weird to see. I don't think we're used to seeing planets like this in Star Wars,
Yeah, like I had some very
at least in live action.
true. I had very bad like foreboding when this episode was starting. So I'm like, this is going way too good
This is,
and
yeah,
clean.
it's just like the Bad Batch episode of Pabu. Like, oh my god,
Right,
something
yeah.
bad's gonna happen next episode.
Yeah, I'm like, this is
And
going
I have a feeling that's gonna be the case for tomorrow's episode. So,
You think so?
just yes,
Fair. I agree.
Brendel Hux is involved.
Come on now.
Fine. I'm bringing that up. Fine. I mean, I did talk about it last week, so.
We did.
And we posted a clip on Twitter, so
Mm-hmm.
watch that clip on Twitter if you haven't already.
At Ilum Radio on Twitter, check us out. It's on there. I don't think it's pinned yet, but it's on there.
It's on there. It's posted.
But yeah, so like, and especially, I felt like Din in this episode because like Din is like, do we have to blast our way out? We might have to blast our way out. I think we have to fight our way out. And like Bo's like, can you just like not? She's like, can you just like like have some chill? But then we get to our second cameo for this episode. Since Tom Holland's brother was the first one.
Yeah.
And it's Jack Black and Lizzo randomly.
Yeah, they. I was like, so I noticed Jack Black first because of his beard.
Yes.
And then I looked over and I was like, wait, is that Lizzo? I was like, what is happening? Are there more cameos? And then Christopher Lloyd also.
I forgot to grab an image of it, but okay. So you see the image on screen right now, right? And you see the two guards on the left and right of them?
Yes. I think so.
Their armor was interesting. Like,
oh, I need a closer look at that.
let me see if I can pull something up really quick while we're talking.
Because I did not pay attention to anything else but Lizzo and Jack Black in this scene because holy moly.
Fair. That's absolutely fair.
And I was like freaking out, I guess. And plus, as someone who grew up with like Jack Black, like as a kid, like with Kung Fu Panda and School of Rock and all that, it was really, really jarring to see him in Star Wars.
And I grew up with him with Tenacious D. And yeah, like it was.
I mean, he still does Tenacious D stuff.
He does. I've seen him live. It was great.
And he's in the new Mario movies.
That's right. Yeah, he's having like a banner week, man. Cause like,
dude, there's a new song called Peaches, and it's really good. I haven't seen the movie, but it's really funny.
Like,
even dropped a music video pretty recently, so.
I have to watch the movie first. I've been hearing a lot of good things about the movie.
Same here.
But yeah, he's having a banner week because not only is he Bowser in the Mario movie, but he is this. What was it? He was a general? No, what was he? Captain Bombardier, and I guess he was part of the Empire.
Yes, he was, and part of the amnesty program.
Yeah.
Which was, I was like, oh snap.
So it brings up. I don't know if I want to get into it yet, but it brings up a lot of interesting things. So okay, we have our third cameo. I'm sorry, fourth cameo.
Well, I mean, wait, do we want to count Jack Black and Lizzo as one cameo? I mean, they're both in the same scene, so.
They are. And for the record, I did actually pause when I saw Lizzo. I was like, that's not fucking Lizzo. I'm like, holy shit, that is Lizzo. Like, I just didn't. I didn't expect to see her. And again, it's one of those.
Yeah, same here.
This is the only point I will ever agree with some of those neckbeards that are pissed off about this whole thing.
I just remembered that Lizzo one year dressed up as Grogu for Halloween.
That's right.
And I think Jack Black also had a lightsaber for May the 4th. No, they're both Star Wars fans. They're finally in Star Wars now, so. Which is nice. Um,
So this is not the best image I could get of this.
like Lizzo showing up in this episode reminded me of Megan Thee Stallion, like showing up in She-Hulk.
Yep.
Remember that? Like,
So
it reminded me of that cameo.
And here's what upsets me about the whole thing while I'm loading this image about not that they were in it, but like the fans getting upset. Because, okay, she wasn't the best actress in this scene. Fine, I get it. In the background, that's the guard I'm talking about. Yeah.
Can you zoom in on that, or?
Let's see if I can do it without messing things up too much. We'll find out, Millie. I think so.
I think you're right. There we go.
There we go. So it looks like stormtrooper armor.
Oh, it does. Looks like Old Republic armor, like Jedi-ish.
Right?
Like, I'm getting Old Republic vibes from this dude. Yeah, it does look. Oh, it is TK armor. What the heck?
Yeah.
Like the legs and the arms, at least.
Which makes sense for Jack Black's character, because if he was like a captain or whatnot on this planet, and he was basically, this was probably
it looks like a combo of like TK and like Imperial Guard, like the Emperor is.
Right? Like, it's such a weird looking. It looks cool. I'm not gonna lie. I would really love to see that at a con.
Yeah.
Because that would look pretty badass.
Celebration Japan.
I know, right? It'd be pretty badass.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So what was I? Oh yeah. So I understand Lizzo was not the best actress in this episode. Yeah, fine, whatever. Okay. But she's a Star Wars fan, right?
Oh.
You're telling me that if you were somehow got a chance to have a speaking role in a Star Wars, you would say no to it. None of us would. Not one of us would. And I don't think any of us could do a good acting job, being the normal folk we are. You know, like, so I can see part of where they're coming from having these cameos, because it takes you out of it for a second. You know what I mean? Again, I had to pause to see who she was. I mean, see if that was Lizzo or not. But it's still pretty fucking cool she's in it.
I think also the reason why is that, like, the original like idea of Star Wars is to cast like unknown actors.
Right.
And then like the neckbeards came in like, oh, they should have just casted unknown actors like they did in the originals and stuff like that, and the prequels and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, remember when George Lucas himself almost casted the Backstreet Boys in the prequels? Mm-hmm. Remember that? Mm-hmm. But that didn't happen. But he almost did. Mm-hmm. And also remember that in 1976, or not 1976, 1978, when the Star Wars Holiday Special came out, they got Jefferson Starship to cameo in that special.
They did. That's true.
As themselves.
That's true.
They had a whole musical number.
I forgot. Yeah, you're right. That's true.
And technically, half the cast of that special also had pretty famous actors in it. So
on that same line,
arguably,
and thought of that they should have casted like an unknown actor for that role. That's what they've always done. They haven't done that since like the prequels. Like, in the prequels, they got Natalie Portman, who was well known as a well-known actress at the time. Ewan McGregor, who was also semi-well known. Obviously,
Wonders, yes.
You know what I mean? And and Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson was like cast.
Oh yes.
And he was well known. So like
Samuel Jackson too.
Samuel Jackson, exactly. So it's like, probably one of the most for us here in the States, probably the most famous actor in that entire prequel was Samuel Jackson. So it's amazing how the Star Wars fans always forget.
Yeah, and like musical guest wise, I already expressed examples of those people. So
Mm-hmm.
not too far-fetched to cast musicians in Star Wars to make an appearance in the universe somehow.
I need them to, just for me, because they need to cast a musical guest that they should cast in Star Wars as something. Weird Al Yankovic, like come on.
I mean, he was in the Lego special. Remember?
Yes, the Lego special. Yes, but
Yes.
he needs to be in something live action.
Yes, I do want to see him as a canon character in
Yes.
live action, not
What
just the Lego special. That would be pretty dope.
him and also, and I'm pretty sure he's been in something like that, probably like an animated. Stephen Colbert. That's another one that I would love to see.
Ooh, yes. Yes, Stephen Colbert I'd love to see in Star Wars.
Because he's like OG. He saw Star Wars before anybody.
Oh, yes.
Anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's OG fan.
Actually, if you think about it, in The Force Awakens, Daniel Craig was a stormtrooper.
That's right.
And, oh god, wasn't Prince Harry also a stormtrooper?
Was he? I didn't know that.
He made a cameo in either Force Awakens or Last Jedi. And Tom Hardy was in a deleted scene in Last Jedi as a stormtrooper. Remember when he slapped Finn's butt? Yeah.
Oh.
So they can cast famous people in Star Wars.
I remember that deleted scene. That's right.
Yeah, that was Tom Hardy,
Oh.
aka Venom. He's already a well-known actor, so they just
Yeah.
casted him in a cameo role.
That's true.
Pretty cool.
So yeah, neckbeard, suck it. I'm just trying to shake the
I'm already
cages.
throwing out examples here.
Yeah.
Like people forget this stuff all the time.
Like, I know why they weren't happy that she was in it. I don't want to say it. That's because it gets too much into, it's the same reason why they were upset with Moses Ingram. You know what I mean? And and John Boyega. I'm just gonna say it without I'm gonna say it without saying it. That's why they got upset. My only gripe, as I said before, it takes you out of it for a second. That's my only gripe with it.
I didn't mind, like, me personally, I didn't mind it. Like, I really enjoyed seeing Lizzo and Jack Black in the episode.
Especially Jack Black.
As the characters.
Just because
he
was my childhood. So,
Same. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of lore they put into this planet that I'm going to bring up later when we bring up our other guest actor, which everyone already knows at this point.
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown,
Scott.
Uncle Fester. There's an amazing theory I read today on Twitter, and it's
he's also Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts, just saying.
That's right.
He's already involved with Disney, so
that's true.
He already has connections.
So, someone on Twitter said, in their headcanon, Doc Brown basically traveled so far back in time in like the DeLorean, he ended up in a galaxy far, far away. Because remember, this is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far, far away, right? That's the original crawl.
Yes.
So he landed on a world that would be later called Mandalore. And he started the mythos of the Mandalorians because he was a man in a DeLorean.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I read that today, and it's like, you know what?
Okay. That is
I don't care. I'm running with it. That's canon for me. That's it. Doc Brown started the Mandalorians. He was a man in a DeLorean on this planet, and he tried to go back to the future, but couldn't get back, and kept on going further and further into like this galaxy. He's like, all right, fuck it, I live here now, and we see him here.
Well, I don't know how I feel about this as also a Back to the Future fan. Wow, that was. Listen, I think my theory about Brendel Hook showing up at some point makes more sense than this theory / headcanon.
Oh, it does, but I'm running with it. I don't care.
I kind of believe it, but at the same time, like, how, like, How?
um,
I mean, technically this would take place in the late 80s, right?
no, technically,
Considering when Return of the Jedi came out. Like,
technically,
Back to the Future Part 3 came out in, like, what, 1990?
yes.
Oh boy,
So,
we're doing some mathing here. Oh god.
okay,
Here we
Back to the
go.
Future came out in 1990, but it was still 1985 chronologically in the movie. Um,
Oh, true. Right.
Doc
Forgot
Brown
about that.
goes to the past in the Old West.
Wait, when did Return of the Jedi come out?
83? No. I think 83 it came out.
No, 83. No, hold on. Wait, this year is the anniversary of Return of the Jedi.
So,
83.
1983. And in the opening crawl of every Star Wars, it says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, right?
Hold on, so... Okay, 5 years after 1983 is 1990.
Right.
But, like, what... Wait, is it 1985 in Part 3?
It is.
Okay.
All three
okay,
movies
so then-
all three movies take place in 1985.
Okay, yeah, so...
So the whole theory is because all of Star
Well,
Wars.
in theme park canon, like, Doc Brown builds his, like, future, like, Institute of Technology in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
So, still, like, active, and I think in the video game, which is semi-canon, I mean, it's canon, it takes place a year later. So, lots of time travel shenanigans. And there's actually his appearance here kind of reminds me of his alternate counterpart with the shaved head and stuff like that.
In what in the game?
In the video game, yeah. If you look up Citizen Brown on Google, you'll understand.
Hang on one second.
Kind of reminds me of Citizen Brown in the video game.
Citizen
Like they look
Brown.
eerily like familiar. And he's like a crazy scientist too. Like he's like crazy.
Huh.
Kind of similar here. Like if you did like a side by side comparison, like it's pretty much 1-to-1, I think.
Come
I
on.
can't believe we're bringing Back to the Future lore into Star Wars. This is nuts.
I'm just going with a theory that was on Twitter. I'm like, I like that theory. That's a wonderful. You started this. You're the one that said, hey, you should go on Twitter more. You're right, Millie. I should go on Twitter more. And this is what I find. This is your fault.
Okay, Dave. All right, fine. Whatever. Did you find the picture?
I
or-
did.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. I mean, there's another picture, not just on the thingy. Oh, Citizen Brown.
Citizen Brown. Back to the.
It's like in this office, which looks like the office he was in Mandalorian. Like, oh god, I need to look up cutscenes now, but...
Open image and new tab. Here's a slightly better one.
Oh, let me see.
Slightly better.
Eh.
Let me main screen it. Yeah, slightly.
No
So,
glasses, but similar.
so this world, Plazier 15, is very interesting to me, and this is why. And it brings up my future point with our character Hellgate here that Christopher Lloyd plays.
Yes.
They
I'll
don't
discuss that.
they don't really specify if this was a separatist world, a republic world.
Mm-hmm.
They do specify it was an imperial world, more or less, because of Jack Black's character. But
Right.
prior to the Empire, they don't specify what kind of world it was. It's very possible it was still an independent planet back in the heyday, before when this whole Clone War started. So it probably wasn't even part of the Republic at all when shit got thick. But even in the history of it, they really don't say. Like on Wikipedia, for the majority of its history, Plazier 15 was ruled by unelected absolute monarchs for some royal dynasty. Following the fall of the empire, the leader, Plazier 15's royal family, the Duchess, along with her former imperial husband, Captain Bombardier, transformed the planet's monarchy into an elected one, utilizing direct democracy as its primary form of decision and lawmaking. This first election saw the Duchess and Captain Bombardier elected, yada, yada, yada. So they don't specify the allegiances this planet had, okay? And they had a shit ton, as we saw, of battle droids.
Of battle droid. Yeah, that's suspicious. That's
right?
wild.
So they must have been part of the Separatists. They must have been. Or at least had a Separatist base on there.
Yeah.
The Empire comes to, basically free the planet. And they keep a garrison of Imperials there that Jack Black leads or is in charge of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, who did this world, who was their allegiance prior? And it does get answered later. We'll get into that. But what were your thoughts on the whole, buddy cop scenario we had going in this episode?
With Din and Bo.
Yep.
Clearly, Bo was a cop and Din was bad cop.
Bad
in this scenario.
Din was definitely the worst cop.
cop.
No, there was no bad cop. He was worst cop.
Straight up, foot kicked battle droids. There's no he doesn't care.
Although, to be fair, Din has a really good reason to hate battle droids.
I mean, he did kind of witness the Clone Wars when he was a child.
Because he was not like that at all with the Ugnaughts.
No.
At all. In fact, he even spoke in their cadence. I am Din Djarin, friend of Ugnaughts. We are asked for your help. I have spoken. And it kind of broke through their little,
Oh yeah, he mentioned Queel.
Yep.
That was something I wasn't expecting for him to bring up again.
Right? I think most of us forgot about that.
Queel. We haven't. I mean, he died in season 1, but he hasn't. Last time Queel was even mentioned was season 1, at least. So I'm glad stuff from season 1 are being referenced here. So
same.
It's not forgotten.
I have spoken.
Hoping that character shows up, not Queel, he's dead, but Mira, I hope she shows up again at some point. I doubt it, but we'll see.
Queel definitely taught him more of the, and again, he's only like this with the battle droids, because Queel definitely taught him more of the diplomatic approach to things, because he made him be diplomatic with the Jawas in season 1. So, yes, he was a bad cop, but only to the stupid battle droids, and for good reason. And I love the banter between him and Bo, where she's like, I think you're taking this kind of personal that they're battle droids. He goes, nope, I'm just saying they're bad to trust. Don't trust them at all. I loved how colorful this planet was, especially during their chase and their going to the droid bar, which I didn't expect was a thing.
I mean, it was in the trailer. We just didn't know where this was.
Right.
The droid bar. Look how far this society has come since the events of New Hope. At first, droids weren't even allowed in the bar, period. But now they have their own bar on a different planet. And on Tatooine. So. Not just on this planet, but also on Tatooine. So I'm glad droids have more accessibility to bars like that. So
I love how Christopher Lloyd's character was very boomer about the whole thing, where he's like, "Oh, they can't survive without their droids. If they don't have their droids, our entire society would collapse."
I mean, isn't Christopher Lloyd in real life 86 or something?
Yes, he is. He's up there.
So he would have been alive during the prequels.
Yeah. Well. I mean, we'll definitely get into that because they bring it up. But yeah, it was a really, really freaking just again, I just love how colorful this whole like planet is. It looked like it's future Epcot, it's Space Epcot Center, and you can't tell me looking at this that won't be part of like Star Tours or Galactic Nights. You can't tell me it's not going to be.
Oh yeah, I can see this being like a Star Tours destination for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's kind of, and I know we do this all the time, but it's kind of convenient. This episode dropped right before Celebration, and right before them bringing up Star Tours. Like,
I know, right?
Like, come on.
Like, come on. I bet Lizzo and Jack Black secretly recorded for Star Tours and
yes,
in costume.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know about you, but looking at this scene, I would like to go and drink there. That looks like it'd be a hell of a place to go drink and party.
That'd be cool.
Just saying, you know?
I can already see like the costume club's booth already planning like a droid bar like section of the booth, like the droid builders building their own droid bar. That'd be dope.
That would be cool. Oh, I didn't even think of that. That would be so awesome.
Next Celebration, there better be a droid bar with all those droids.
I know, right? And I like how they made the droid bar make sense in this episode. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. It's actually very important in this episode, and we'll get into that soon.
So, because seriously, when they got to the droid bar, I'm like, what kind of bar droids? That makes no fucking sense. But then it's like, oh, they're drinking like a special oil that has like particles that helps them reprogram and stuff and yada yada yada. And then it's like
suspicious.
But not that. But it's like, if you remember in A New Hope,
right.
3PO was about to lose his shit when he was getting an oil bath.
Yeah.
Remember when he's like, oh, thank the maker, an oil bath. Like, he was gonna lose his shit. So they kind of related it a little bit, and I thought that was kind of cool. And yeah, speaking of protocol droids, we have a blue protocol droid. Now you mentioned again in the comments, please correct me on this or let me know the actual history of who this belongs to, because I want to put it in the links down below if we have to re-edit anything. But this belonged to like, or at least the idea of the blue protocol droid belonged to like a fan or a droid builder or something like that. I think you said, correct? Or like,
I think this droid was made in memory of the droid builder that originally made the concept of a blue protocol droid.
Because I went looking,
to my understanding.
Because
Chris Bartlett posted about it on his Instagram, so
that's who it was. Hang on. Let me bring it up real quick. Let me see if I
Chris
can find
Bartlett and I are mutuals, so like on Instagram.
Of course you are.
Like,
Chris.
he apparently knows a lot of New England people up here, so hence why he's like, oh, I'm gonna follow this person.
Really? Huh.
I don't know. That's just my guess. We've never met in person, but I did talk to him a little bit online, so that was fun.
So he posted a photo of it, but not really.
It's in the description of the photo. It's in like the comment, or not the comments, but the description of it. It'll like describe what the context is.
Welcome to the family, Blue. I have so much love for this one. # Jon Favreau chooses luminous being appear in the Resistor Cantina. I forgot it was called the Resistor.
Oh yeah, the Resistor.
Expertly directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, which again, she did another thing I want to talk about, but I think she did a phenomenal job in this episode. Excellently performed by my counterpart, Daniel Bowman art, Star Wars fan, Padge Whaley to be continued, blue protocol droid. Okay, in the comments, here it is. As a lifelong fan since 1977, since Star Wars thrills me, excites me, fills me with a joy, and sometimes makes me cry, this is one of those times. What a beautifully moving story. Padge has achieved what all true Star Wars fans would love to achieve, and what most of us only dream of. He unfortunately isn't here to witness his creation on screen, but all of us connected through the bonds of Star Wars can marvel in his beauty and his legacy. Pedge Wadley. So that's the guy who made it, or thought of the
started
concept.
to make it. He started making the head, but didn't finish it.
RG22. I found it. RG255. Let me see if I can put it in the.
Yeah.
So interesting. Okay, so that got that message. So yeah,
Yeah, I did recognize him because Chris did bring it up once before.
Of course, you recognized it, Millie. You know.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know a little bit about droids, I guess.
Like I said
A little more than...
in our intro, cosplayer extraordinaire. So like.
That's true. That's true.
If I have a question about cosplay, Millie, you'll probably know it.
Probably. Well, it depends.
With that said, hit her up on her Twitter at @me_Halprin. Just saying,
Or Instagram.
Or Instagram. She posts some cool shit.
Do.
So yeah, and this brings us back to our buddy here. Okay, so
yes,
they go to the resistor. They get these essential oils basically, and they get these reprogramming particles that let them, I guess you could say, like hard reset the droids and whatnot.
Actually, I want to bring something up before we get into. So remember when Bo went to see that, like, they went to the droid morgue, essentially.
Yes.
Before. So apparently someone translated the Arabic.
Really?
Let me. Yeah, it's a lot of like. It's really funny, actually. Let me try to find it.
Huh.
Yeah, someone on Twitter translated it.
Interesting.
I saw it this morning because I found it really funny. Here we go. Yeah, Star Wars Explained tweeted about it. So here is the tweet. And then here is the other picture that's actually in the. Have to open it in a new tab, I think, to like zoom in. But yeah, there's a lot.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm just looking at my phone really quick. Because every time I click on a link, I show like everyone like my
So
just translating Arabesh on the plane, a completely normal activity. Anyway, this text from the most recent episode of The Mandalorian says, "This means nothing. However, fans means her brutality."
I told you it was funny.
Oh my god. CSI for the win. Oh my god.
Something I found while looking at the picture. Oh god, I need to open in a new tab here. You look at the bottom right. There is a reference to Doc Brown in there. Just go to the bottom right. And just read the first few. First few sentences. So.
He did not invest the whole estate, every one of you, before I got dark for some time.
No, very, very bottom right.
Hang on.
In the commander picture, like where you see commander, just look on the right and then just read.
In this image here, right? You're talking about?
Yes, bottom right, just scroll all the way down. Bottom right, all the way down.
Come on, David. Okay. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. This is fussed sample text. Great.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, oh, that's a Doc Brown reference. Yeah, a lot of this is gibberish, but
still, it's like I
Oh, there's actually, if you look at the top. There's actually some like food references in here, which is funny.
Norwegian forest cat is an excellent pet for a mediumly active family. If you give it an indoor climbing tree and of course love you, can have a good friend for many years. Connect status frame Q. Interesting. Ribeye fat, yeah, ribeye fat, brisket spare. Ham prosciutto, kielbasa, spare ribs, venison, brisket, frank meat. You know why they probably did that, and I'm not sure if it was all done like around the same time, but remember how people got upset in the Bad Batch when they were looking at like the
wall. Oh yeah,
the wall, and it was just like random text. It wasn't like any words at all.
Yeah.
That's I gotta read that. I gotta read that tweet again. Hang on. That was funny. Just translating Arabic on the plane, a completely normal activity. Anyway, this text from the most recent episode of The Mandalorian says, "This means nothing. However, fans may interpret the hell out of it. CSI for the win." That's fantastic. That's fucking fantastic. Okay.
I love the Doc Brown reference. That's so funny.
We don't need
I just wanted
roads.
to bring that up before we continued because it is in the same scene-ish. So there we go.
I know. I'm glad you did. That was great. That made my night.
You're welcome.
So, yeah. So the particles are basically reprogramming. The particles are from the Techno Union. They reprogram the battle droids to go back to like default, basically, and do battle droid shit. In fact, any droid who takes these particles becomes bad, and they're reprogrammed as a battle droid. So we find out that it's our boy, Christopher Lloyd, aka Hellgate.
Not surprised there.
Right? It was kind of. I was a little let down. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little let down when we discovered it was him, mostly because it was like kind of like a Scooby-Doo type of thing. Like, oh, it was Mr. Carruthers all along. Like it's. You kind of saw it coming.
Oh, I love the Scooby-Doo reference. Yeah.
Right. It was kind of like, I guess you could say you saw it coming, and it was like too easy of a guess. However, his reasoning behind it is fucking dope, and I even texted you like right after I saw the episode. So
yeah, I remember.
Okay. So he's a separatist. We discovered that, and he got stuff from the Techno Union Army, which were part of the separatists, so he would know how to get it, yada yada yada. And I think him being a separatist is not just a throwaway character thing or a coincidence or something threw in there. That's very, very big, because again, this world was probably a separatist world. And this guy believed in what Dooku said. He said Dooku was a visionary, like taken down in his prime by like Jedi enforcers. Like he believed all of Dooku.
The fact that separatists are still around during this time.
So
that was surprising to hear. I was like, whoa, hold on. I thought separatists were long gone, but I guess not.
So that's the thing. The ideal is still there, which is, in my theory, like
bringing back to the thing I mentioned about Christopher Lloyd in real life being like, what, 85? Like, hold on, let me triple check Christopher Lloyd's age here. Christopher Lloyd is 84 in real life.
So this character definitely would have been alive during the prequel era. Definitely. He would have been
even before the prequels, like way before, like probably when Count Dooku was like in his prime.
Right. He would have been like when
during like Tales of the Jedi, basically.
Yeah. And he probably was the same age as Dooku, maybe, back when this was all happening, or a little bit younger.
Most likely.
So...
Hold on, how old was Christopher Lee? Hold on. It's probably, like, younger than Dooku, but, like, or older than Dooku, but still. Let's see. Born May 27th, 1922. Born October 22nd, 1938, Christopher Lloyd.
So he was 1922. And prequels, let's say 2005. So he would have been like in his is 80s if I'm doing 2005 as a prequel when the prequels dropped. But let's do 1999. That makes more sense. You said 1922?
May 27th, 1922 for Christopher Lee, yes.
So he was in his late 70s, early 80s during the prequels, which is holy shit.
And Christopher Lloyd was born in 1938.
So 10 years, give or take, younger. So, yeah, in the prequel era, the Separatist era, during the Clone Wars, Hellgate would have been in his 60s if he's in his 80s right now. And he was Separatist. So that means that idea of the Separatists is still there, which is why the First Order was able to like gain so much power so quickly and so without anyone noticing. Because the world they're on, Plaza 15, had to have been a Separatist world. It must have been, right? I mean, with all those
if he's there.
Yeah, and with all those battle droids, and even he said it, like, this world was much more different before, like, this guy showed up, and he changed things. So, he showed up as an Imperial, and then became part of the amnesty program. So, that idea is still out there, and they're the ones who probably helped start the First Order, along with, like, the remnants of the Empire. Like, granted, he said he resisted the Empire, he resisted the Republic, so he definitely wasn't a fan of the Empire either. In fact, most rebels we're finding out in the era were, like, probably separatists themselves who decided to fight against the Empire. So there's that whole can of worms as well. But yeah, and this is like a world that's independent. Like, this is a whole mess of shit, and how the First Order just became a thing because of them. That's all I got. That's the gist of it.
Yeah, that was like one of the huge reveals in that one. So,
and it just bothers me that a lot of the fans, that from what I can tell, I might be wrong. Again, if I'm wrong, say in the comments down below, people. That most fans missed that little detail because they're concentrating being angry on the cameos. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, that was a huge, huge, huge detail. Which brings us to possibly what we might see. Well, we kind of glossed over one thing. Bo-Katan rules Mandalore again.
Yeah, she got the Darksaber back. Finally.
And, like,
she deserves it.
She does. And it's, what I loved was, like, Din's reasoning behind how she got it. It's like, he's like, yo, this thing, you win in battle, right? Yeah. I got defeated, and this was taken from me. And then she came in, kicked its ass, and now she owns it, right? Right? Isn't that how your mythology goes? How, like, your politics go with this saber? And they're all like, fuck, he's right. Yeah, she's ruler of Mandalore. And we've had this discussion before. I can see why fans are a little upset, because they lured us in with Din Djarin and Grogu, right? And people are thinking everyone's doing like the whole bait and switch, like saying, "Oh, we're coming here to see like Din, but you're making us pay attention to like Bo-Katan." But it's like trying to find the best way to say this without being offensive. For the casual fans who got into Star Wars because of The Mandalorian, for them, I want to say it makes sense because they don't know the history of Bo-Katan.
They're not familiar with Clone Wars and Rebels.
Exactly. So I can see why they're angry, because they don't know who Bo-Katan is. They probably didn't go back to watch Rebels or the Clone Wars or any of it. So they don't know like how embedded she is in their history. But as for those of us who grew up watching Clone Wars or watch Clone Wars, who know about all this, Why are you guys upset? Because you know exactly who Bo-Katan is and what she can do, what she has done, and why she's able to
Why
lead.
she deserves it.
Yes. And why she's able to lead a strike force of Mandalorians, and Din kind of can't. Din, I love Din Djarin. He's great.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, he's a bruiser. You know what I mean? Like, he just... If he wants something done, he's going to do it. But can he lead an army? Not really. That's not his skill set. That's why there's the armorer. She can lead an army. She's a leader. Din is just a follower in many ways.
Brute.
Yeah. I love the character. He's great, but he's, But she's like a leader, and it's like, for those of you who are like fans of this shit, who watch it like we did, why are you upset? You know who Bo-Katan is. You know exactly who she is in her history. Like, come on, guys. Like, come on. Like, don't get it twisted. I know why you're upset. She likes it. I don't want to say it without saying it, but I know why you don't like it. It's the same reason you don't like Rey, being the forefront, or Captain Marvel being in the forefront of things. I can see Yo Stank from here. Like I said, just trying to rattle cages. I want to get like a couple comments down below from angry nerds. But she is Lita. It was a cool scene. What were your thoughts on the whole fight, like fist fight she had with Wolf and all that?
I was really hoping she would win.
Yeah.
I wanted her to get the Darksaber.
And she did. She whooped his ass. Like, she whooped his ass. And so, good episode. She has the Darksaber back. Now we're going to get to the point you're dying to talk about more or less.
Yes.
So we posted something today on our Twitter.
We did.
And our Insta. And our TikTok about something you said in the previous episode. What was that, Millie?
My theory for tomorrow's episode is that we get to see Brendel Hux and Ray Sloan form the Empire, not the Empire, the First Order. Like, in Aftermath, they both did it, and we've never seen them on screen in live action before, and we already have an idea of what they're capable of and what their origins are and stuff like that. Like, it makes a lot of sense for them to show up because they are integral in forming the First Order.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of setting that up in this season, so it would make a lot of sense that they showed up.
Now, where this comes from, because Millie sent it to me, I think at 2 o'clock in the morning, she saw like a tweet. It was like kind of late or early, I don't remember, but...
Oh, I don't want to bring that up, just in case people
haven't really...
want to be surprised.
Okay,
but...
okay. We'll bring it up when we record the episode for Chapter 23.
Yes. Just in case it happens, in case Brendel Hux shows up.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a slight... And I'd also love to see Hosnian Prime in its prime.
Yes.
Because we've never really seen it properly in live action. We've only seen it briefly before it gets blown up by Starkiller.
I agree. I'm just going to save face a little bit. I do... After what we've seen and what you said, I do believe we're going to see these characters. But because they're giving us a lot of world building, like they did with last week's episode and prior, we're probably only going to see them as a cliffhanger maybe in the last episode of the season. I'm just going to save face and say that.
Ooh, maybe.
You know what I mean?
Might be possible.
Because next episode could be a bit... Because we have no idea what next episode is going to be. It could be even more world building or...
Well, we were only on the second to last episode, so...
So that's a...
And then we have Ahsoka coming out in August, so we have... Show ends next week, and then we have a hiatus until...
Ahsoka.
The next Mandoverse show in August, and then... So I think next episode will set up First Order tease, and then maybe like the season finale will be like a tease for Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm. I agree. We'll see some crazy cliffhanger shite. I mean, we already know this is going to come.
I mean, people who have seen the episode in advance at Celebration have said this episode was really good. So I'm excited.
Yeah, same. Oh yeah, Grogu got knighted. He's
Oh,
not.
that's right. That's right.
He is now a knight of Placer 15, which is cool.
They're invited to come back anytime, apparently.
Yep.
So
She's got a key. I love how the Duchess offered them the key to like the city or key to the planet, and Din just looked at Bo like, I don't want this shit. You fucking like that's the feeling I got from him. He was like, I don't want this shit. You take it. You're royalty. Fuck it. I don't want it. Like, when, and I know you saw the tweet. I think you tweeted it also. When Din picked up Grogu, do you think he said daddy or dad when he was picking him up?
I did not tweet that. What?
So there's a rumor going around
tweeting it.
that I forgot where I saw it, but I rewatched the episode and he does say something that sounds like dad. So end of the episode, Grogu gets knighted.
I did not pick up on that. Okay.
Watch it again, just at the one last scene. Grogu. So Duchess. Din says bye to the Duchess and Jack Black's character, right? He says, "My lord, my lady," and he goes to pick up Grogu from the ground, right? And as he's picking up Grogu, it sounds like Grogu says "Dada." He's probably just making a baby sound, because Grogu makes a lot of baby sounds. But it sounds like he says "Dada."
It reminds me when people thought Grogu said in episode 1, like, "This is the way." When Bo and Din both said it, and then Grogu was trying to say it. I think maybe it's also trying to set up Grogu being his first word officially.
Yep. Either he's gonna be
if he's trying to speak.
It sounds like he's so. Watch it again for those of you at home who made it this far
watch that again.
and didn't catch it. Just watch that last scene again where Din picks up Grogu from the ground when they're leaving the Duchess and leaving the captain. It sounds like he says "Dada."
Oh my god.
Yes.
It's weird because I watched it on subtitles too, so I didn't like.
I feel like that's one of those.
You think they'd pick that up if it was in subtitles? Like if he said it?
I feel like if it was in there in subtitles, they'd find a way to like not have it picked up in some way, shape, or form, just so people wouldn't like not catch it by accident. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a theory that's out there. We'll see what happens. I heard a very interesting theory today about Ahsoka and Balin and who Balin is. It's an off-the-wall theory, but
I mean, we know he's a survivor for Order 66. He's a fallen Jedi. That's all we know.
There's a theory out there that, because it looks like in one of the scenes in the trailer, Balin is fighting Ahsoka in what looks to be like the background from the World Between Worlds, right? We discussed that yesterday. There's a theory that Balin is actually Anakin Skywalker from another reality or world where he did not get burned on Mustafar, where he defeated Obi-Wan Kenobi and essentially became the Emperor.
If that's the case, they would have done Hayden Christensen, in my opinion.
I feel like if they did Hayden Christensen, it'd be a reveal, that they don't want people to see. You know what I mean? But
no, I doubt it.
So do I, but it's out there, and I want to bring it up just in case. Like it's actually
it's not
a thing.
A theory; it's a fact. But the guy who plays him also voiced Gar Saxon in the Clone Wars. Just saying.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. They're not related, but that's just a cool fact I just wanted to bring up, considering we're talking about Mandalorians.
Man, Disney really loves to like reuse like their actors and stuff. That's cool.
Yep.
Any closing thoughts on this episode?
I do not believe that theory, Dave. I don't. It's too far-fetched.
You know what? I know the Doc Brown theory is far-fetched also, but I'm bringing it up just because, it's funny,
I don't believe it. No. My Brendel Hooks theory is more believable than...
Closing thoughts on this episode.
Man, this episode left us hanging. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. It was a very fun episode.
It really was.
I enjoyed it. I know fans want every episode to be, you know, a thing, but come on, let's have fun. And Bryce Dallas Howard did another phenomenal job. The fans turned their backs on her like they usually do, because fans don't know what they want, unfortunately. But she did a good job. This episode was done real. It was a lot of fun, and I think she wanted to have fun with this episode, and she succeeded. With that said, friends, thank you for watching and making it this far in our show. Please leave a comment below and interact with this show in any way, shape, or form. Give a like, give a comment, share it. Really helps us out, get us out there so we can rule the galaxy talking about our nerd stuff. Follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter at Ilum Radio. You can follow us on Instagram at Ilum Radio. You can also find us on TikTok for now at Ilum Radio. And if there's a certain subject you want us to look into and talk about, send us an email to ilumradiopodcast@gmail.com. If you want to find us on our personal social medias, where can they find you, Millie?
You can find me on Twitter at me_Halpern and Twitter at me_Halpern and Instagram at Millie_Halpern.
If you guys want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at @TheBeardedMenace. You can also find me on Instagram at DailyBeardedMenace, TikTok at DailyBeardedMenace, and if you want to hang out during a live stream with Millie in chat, derailing things as she does, dropping Star Wars bombs and knowledge, as she did a couple times tonight, you can find us on twitch.tv/DaveTheBeardedMenace. She's not in there often, but when she is, it's a lot of fun. Anywho, friends, that's it for us. That's it for this episode of Ilum Radio. As always, be easy, stay frosty, and may the Force be with you guys. Peace.